Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Makhotso Malefane. I am from the Department of Culture. I come from Lesotho. Not a student. I'm a heritage practitioner. So I'm going to give you my take on this topic. 95% of the time I speak Lesotho. So if you can't hear clearly, you'll tell me. Someone will help me. I know someone will help me. Today, I'm going to talk about the participatory heritage management and conservation of rock art sites. My case study is the Maloti-Drakensberg World Heritage Site, Bavazo. I'm going to start with the introduction. The Maloti-Drakensberg World Heritage Site is a product of joining Sehlabathebe National Park, SNP, in the Lesotho site, and the uKhahlamba World Heritage Site in the South African side. It is a transboundary protected area. The world property is inscribed under both outstanding natural and cultural heritage the significance. It holds the most concentrated collection of rock art paintings in Africa, south of the Sahara, and it is considered exceptional in quality and diversity. The rock art offers a continuous record of the San presence from at least 4,000 years ago up until the last San were killed or driven out of the region by invading communities, while others were absorbed into other cultural communities. MDTP rock art is an irreplaceable cultural heritage resource. The sheer volume of rock art is estimated at between 25 and 40,000 paintings. The world property is also part of the larger Maloti-Drakensberg Park conservation area, a project that seeks to balance the conservation needs with the community development across South Africa and Lesotho territory. I'm defining the buffer zones. Buffer zones are designated areas surrounding World Heritage properties subjected to specific planning restrictions to provide an extra layer of protection to sites, helping them to maintain the integrity and sustainability of the outstanding universal values or UVs of such sites. They are not technically considered part of the World Heritage property itself, but they serve as the interface between the protected areas and human settlements, leading to potential threats. But they are distinct. There are clear demarcations are required during the nomination period. Although buffer zones are intended for protection, they can also introduce or intensify threats if not properly managed. According to paragraph 104 of the operational guidelines, Buffer zone is an area surrounding the nominated property, which has a complementary legal and customary restrictions placed on its use. MDT is divided into two layers. You have the sensitive and the less sensitive. The sensitive layer, it's adjacent to the core area, while the other one, the less sensitive one, is surrounding the sensitive area where the developments can occur. There is no uniformity on the World Heritage property buffer zones. The size and the shape can vary, but their management is considered an important component of the overall conservation strategy. This is the Maloti-Drakensberg World Heritage Site buffer zone map. The green area is the core. The purple side is the South African part of the buffer zone on the South African side, and the white is Lesotho. MDTP has many threats, but the focus of the paper is on human-induced threats and their causes. Stakeholder conflict. Buffer zones often involve multiple stakeholders, such as conservators, local communities, private landowners, and developers. Conflicting interest and lack of community can lead to non-compliance and hostile activities against conservation efforts. Unregulated tourism. Rock art within buffer zones can rock art within the buffer zone can be accessible by unregulated or poorly guided visitors, leading to direct physical damage from visitors touching the paintings. Smoke and fire from frequent intentionally burned grass, which is a common practice for the people who have, it's a common practice or common management practice for grazing. It can impact on fragile images on rock art sites. Vandalism is also an issue. Inadequate funding, the management and monitoring of large zones, buffer zones areas require substantial resources. So the dwindling financial resources coupled with limited staff capacity make it difficult to effectively enforce the law, leading to inadequate patrols and slow response to new threats. Vegetation also is a problem, is a threat. Management and conservation of cultural heritage resources. The community management of protected areas conservation programs, which is compact, make an effort of integrating livelihood support with conservation outcomes. They wanted to strengthen biodiversity conservation and sustainable livelihoods. They realized that the World Heritage sites are part of the community, and it was necessary then to find effective ways for inclusion of compatible human use. Compact also revealed that comprehensive management plans should be developed and implemented for the buffer zones. Hence, the contribution of the World Heritage Fund towards strengthening local communities' development plan of Sehlabathebe Community Conservation Forum, SCCF, and Memorandum of Understanding between SNP and CCF. This infrastructure belongs to the CCF, the Sehlabathebe Conservation Forum. It's where is their visitor center, where they accommodate their visitors, and all the gate takings, the accommodation fees, whatever, they belong to them. The management of the park doesn't have a say on this facility. And the methodology. The study was undertaken in 16 villages surrounding the World Heritage Core, and over 20 rock art sites were documented. Recording was done using forms which helped in the standardization of recording process. They were then aligned with other findings from previous documentation conducted at the site and the greater Maloti-Drakensberg World Heritage Site. iPad was used in the recording of size. We used an iPad, a ruler, a GPS for analysis of data. Each village was identified using a local name with shelters identified with the name of the chief. In some instances, it was allocated alphabetic letters like ABC, site A, site B, site C. The report findings confirm that there is human interference with the rock art sites, though it is low to moderate, but it's ongoing. And this is leading to gradual degradation. The Drakensberg Mountain is still a home to 26 ethnic groups, and many still live a traditional way of life. Much of the sandrock, or a traditional way of life, but much of the sandrock art is still intact. Most sites are situated near footpaths frequently used by local communities, making it susceptible to vandalism and graffiti. In some instances, the rock art sites are still used for crawling during unfavorable weather conditions. There are some animal droppings that confirms that that's still keeping the animals there. Some community members living within the MDT buffer zones still use cow dung for heating and cooking. They also paste some of the dung on the rock art panels to try out. The report will also assist UNESCO World Heritage Committee in making decisions as the State Party of Lesotho and South Africa were requested to provide further details on cultural heritage management within the buffer. To show that the damage is it's low to moderate. This rock art is it's near the village gate. Everybody, when you go into that village, you have to pass by this. But as you can see, there is no gravity, there's no, if there is, It's minimal. This is too much. No. Perception of spirituality on rock art sites is in the MDTP buffer zone. The perception, the perception of spirituality on the rock art sites in the MDTP buffer zone holds a contrasting perception of rock art site of rock art sites spirituality, primarily between the descendants of the San people, the Bantu-speaking communities, and the formal heritage systems. The different for the descendants of the San, the sites are sacred. They require active involvement in their spiritual maintenance. There are performing rituals to ensure their ancestors are at peace. Even for some local communities, they have their own spiritual beliefs on the landscape, including the presence of spirits residing on the caves. For the formal heritage management, their perception is that the perception is that they should be treated primarily for archaeological resources, for tourism purposes. Yeah. The different perceptions highlight a complex challenge on managing cultural heritage site in post-colonial context, requiring balance between international conservation standards. The effectiveness of buffer zone depends on its management, which can introduce its own set of threats. As a result, careful planning and control of access is necessary to protect the most fragile rock art sites from things like animals. Conservation measures should be enforced through agreement and cooperation rather than direct control. There is no point conserving a site unless people find meaning in that conservation. There should be a balance between conservation needs with community development across the transboundary buffer zone. Several rock art sites are found in the community-owned land outside the boundary. Hence, mitigation efforts should focus on community partnership. A minor boundary modification has been submitted jointly by the state party of Lesotho and South Africa to formalize the buffer zone. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation. We will now open the floor for any questions. Do we have any?
Thank you so much. So it means that now the buffer zone in the Drakensberg and Sehlabathebe, it's not a dream, it's a reality. Because as far as I know, for many, many years, there is discussion about that. The map you show us, it was the project, but now it's real, it's reality. It's there. You have some mark on the field saying you enter into a buffer zone. There is a special protection statute for this buffer zone. Can you perhaps tell us a little bit more about that? What is the status in terms of protection of this buffer zone?
Helen. The protection. Actually, we are involving the people who are residing at the buffer zones. We don't leave them out. We try by all means to involve them in the conservation and management. We don't impose those strategies. We do them collectively, I think.
Do we have any more questions or comments that we would like to give to the presenter?
So can you please go to second slide 18? You were mentioned or unrecorded tourism. Can you go to that slide? And okay, for this point is it's a big issue. Last year I was having a trip to Lesotho. There's a place called Simonghong. I think you know.
Simongo.
Oh yes. So I came across where I got lost. So I keep driving. When like maybe two kilometers, I met with some shepherds, and then there was a group of Chinese. When I went there to ask for direction to the shepherds, so there was some rock art there. And then the shepherds, they were busy throwing water just for the Chinese for pictures. I think we must consider that. So in those places like that, it needs to be like, take some consideration to be protected anyway. Like
Simongo is a bit out. It's not within the buffer, but thank you for the, yes.
You're asking? What are you saying?
Simongo is a bit far. It's not within the buffer zone.
Oh, it's another.
Maloti-Drakensberg, yeah.
All right. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you.
We perhaps have a final comment or question?
Thank you. So this is actually building on what Raphael says. I haven't been to any of the sites in the buffer zone itself, so it's a more general thing. In Lesotho, when you go to rock art sites there, people, I mean, I remember the one time the woman who was going to take us to the site, she said, let me just get some water. And I assumed it was drinking water. And as we were walking down, I realized that it was to throw the water on the site. And we, so we tried our best to explain, but it's, we went to a few sites, but it seems to be a very widespread practice in Lesotho, the throwing water in the sites. And I would think it's probably happening in the buffer zone as well, with the unregulated tourism.
Thank you. I think that one also calls for the more awareness raising. I think on that one.
If we don't have any more comments or questions, can we take a final one?
Good morning. Thank you very much for a wonderful presentation on this World Heritage Site. In your presentation, you mentioned that some of the issues experienced there are to do with conflicting interest and lack of community involvement. So I'm curious to know what would be the nature of these conflicting interests, and as well as why communities do or are not involved in the management, and what is your organization or institution doing about it?
Thank you very much, sir. The Sehlabathebe National Park Management has been actually actively doing a lot of awareness campaign. The ones that I know were from 2023 to the current situation, because we had a funding from the UNDP, which supported all the associations that are within our buffer zone. Makhotso indicated that we have 16 villages that form the part of our buffer zone. But with the funding from UNDP, the buffer zone has expanded to the 17th village. So we used that funding to actually capacitate those villages, those associations in terms of natural heritage preservation and cultural heritage preservation, of which now I can confidently know that the scenario that was mentioned earlier of people or tour guides pouring water on artifacts or on rock art is no longer a scenario, because they are well equipped, they are well trained, they are well skilled now, because they have also, if you remember in Makhotso's presentation, that's where she showed us the campsite, which belongs to the Sehlabathebe CCF, the Community Conservation Forum. The Community Conservation Forum is a representative of all those 17 villages now that are capacitated. They are helped to actually generate income, so that there are more other projects which are involved. They help the communities to actually generate income, so that they do not go to the park and destroy the rock art sites that we talked about. They are also being capacitated on how to take care of the rock art sites that Makhotso talked about within their villages. Actually, we make them custodians of those rock art sites, because they are situated in their village, within their villages. The picture of the rock art site that Makhotso showed us is situated very close to the footpath which connects some villages to the major services, the police office, the clinic, and the schools. If you look at how protected it is, you won't believe that it's actually situated where it is situated. So I think as the Sehlabathebe Management Park, the Management Park, we have done a lot, but I want to agree with Makhotso that there are so many issues that actually before 2023, 2024, 2025, people were actually angry because of some issues that she highlighted. Thank you very much.
Pass on for the last question.
Thank you for the informative presentation. In your presentation, you indicated that there's a rock art panel that where people pass, or with a pathway where people pass next to the panel. Don't you think it poses a risk to the rock art? If that is the case, don't you think it's ideal maybe to provide an alternative route for its sustainability? Thank you.
I think you're talking about the rock art that Nova was talked about, but it has been there for, I don't know for how many years. It's still there, it's still intact. We are working together with them. We trust them, the local communities. If anything happens, I'll tell you, I'll write an email.